Breaking Bad is one of the greatest TV series ever made, if not the greatest. It's been 10 years since the series finale, yet it's still a hot topic among film and television enthusiasts. And rightfully so. Every episode is highly rated, and everyone has their favorite. But among them all, one episode stands out. Season 3, Episode 10, titled Fly. It's the lowest rated and most disliked episode by many viewers, and yet at the same time, many consider it the best and most profound. Today, we'll dive into what this episode is all about, its hidden details, and the brilliance behind it. The episode is about a fly. An insect flies into the lab, and Walter becomes obsessed with catching it. Throughout the episode, he's fixated on killing the fly, which he claims could contaminate the final product, an unacceptable risk. The entire episode takes place in the lab, where Walter and Jesse are chasing the persistent bug and eventually kill it. This doesn't move the main plot forward. Only two characters are involved, Walt and Jesse, and it's no surprise that many were disappointed to get this slow, introspective episode at a time when tensions were running high in the story. But it's not that simple. It's no secret that this is a filler, or more precisely, a bottle episode, a budget-saving tactic used when the production runs low on funds, allowing more resources for the big episodes later. But a bottle episode can be approached in many ways. It can be done lazily, and when that's the case, it's remembered only as a nightmare. But in Breaking Bad, Fly became one of the most iconic episodes ever. Here's why. The challenge was to save money, so why not shoot the entire thing in one room, and rather than focus on advancing the plot, focus on the characters, their emotions, and their depth. Take Walter, for instance. He's serious, calculated, often suffocating, and obsessively driven by control. He's fixated on catching the fly because to him, everything must be perfect. He cannot tolerate anything that breaks his rules. By season 3, he's grown used to having things his way. That's why he has to catch the fly. He's obsessed. Maybe it's a manifestation of OCD, or maybe it's a metaphor. A reminder that even someone as smart as Walter could be thrown off by something as small as a fly. The fly reveals even more about the characters. Jesse, for example, doesn't get what the big deal is. He's more laid back, at least at this point in the story. He's not a scientist. He just wants to get the job done and leave. But the fly also highlights something else, the imbalance in Jesse and Walter's relationship. They had previously agreed they were 50-50 partners, but we all understand this was just another calculated manipulation by Walt. Even when it comes to the fly, it's ultimately Walter who makes the decisions. Walt approaches the task rationally. He buys fly trap, sets traps, uses clever techniques. Jesse, on the other hand, just grabs a ladder, climbs up, and swats the fly without overthinking it. You'd think Walter always has a plan, that he could do it without Jesse. But the fly disproves that. Jesse is the one who gets rid of it, while Walter was helpless. And that one tiny obstacle, the fly, could have ruined the entire batch. But what does the fly really represent? Some say it symbolizes Walter's guilt and shame. Others say it's about his obsession with perfection. And some say it's just a fly. Surprising, isn't it? But it's in chasing the fly that Walter's guilt surfaces. He gives a heartfelt monologue, admitting that maybe he should have died sitting on his couch, watching TV just before he went to Jesse's house. Because it was after that visit that Jesse's girlfriend Jane died, partially due to Walter's inaction. By that time, Walt had already made enough money, seen his newborn daughter, and listened to his wife sing her a lullaby. He believes that if he died then, people would have missed him. And how did it all end? Spoiler alert. Walt died surrounded by his other family, his true love, the lab and the equipment. The episode ends with the image of the fly. Walt lies in bed, unable to sleep, staring at the fly. Maybe the same one he killed in the lab, or maybe a new one, symbolizing the conscience that still haunts him. Like so many of us lying in bed at night, he's haunted by memories. But for him, they're mostly regrets. The fly also shows how Walt's ego can be undone by something so small. He's not all-powerful. The fly triggers this monologue, where he reminisces about his family and admits that he wants them to miss him when he's gone. It feeds his ego. He doesn't just want them to suffer, he wants to be remembered, longed for, admired. Meanwhile, Jesse is more at peace in this episode. He's starting to accept that Jane's death isn't his fault, almost cleansing himself of guilt. Walt, however, can't let go of his sins. They gnaw at him. To Jesse, the fly is just another one of Walt's whims, a nuisance to get rid of so the job can be done. But to Walt, it's something much more and maybe even irrational. Over time, everyone starts to become like a fly to Walter, something getting in the way of his empire, something that bruises his ego. And so he begins trying to get rid of them. Even Jesse becomes a kind of fly, Walter's conscience in human form, which he tries to destroy in the final season. Jesse sees all the wrong Walt has done and eventually tries to help Hank put him behind bars. Walt decides Jesse must be eliminated. And all the while, his conscience, the fly, keeps gnawing at him from the inside, less and less effectively each time. Eventually, even Walter himself becomes the fly, a small man who causes big problems for those around him, sometimes without realizing it. So the fly becomes many things: conscience, shame, ego, and a reminder that no one is omnipotent. And of course, the title of a tragically underrated episode of Breaking Bad. Maybe the episode doesn't move the plot forward in the way we're used to, but it does something even more important. It immerses us in the characters. They become more than just people on a screen. They become friends. And every one of their actions brings us joy or sorrow. This episode lays the groundwork so that every major moment in Breaking Bad will feel deeply personal to us, almost like it happened in our own lives. And all of this is possible because the context of this episode is just as gripping as the more action-packed ones. It's an episode about the pursuit of perfection and how that pursuit can turn into a dangerous obsession. In this episode, Walter becomes so fixated on catching the fly that he loses sight of everything else. In doing so, he nearly destroys the lab and himself. It's a metaphor for his larger obsession with control and perfection. And it shows that this kind of obsession can cloud your perspective and eventually lead to downfall. Thanks for watching. Be sure to share your thoughts about the show as a whole and this episode in particular. Maybe you have your own interpretations. Like and subscribe to the channel.